Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to continue talking about Star Trek Adventures Warp Onyx campaign, the tales of security crewman Archibald, the player character, played by the gold player. And at this point, Enterprise NX-01 is carrying Klang. He is a Klingon, and they are carrying him back to Kronos. It is the first mission of the Enterprise NX-01. Our campaign started literally in Season 1, Episode 1 of the Star Trek Enterprise series, right? So Captain Archer, Tucker, Sato, Mayweather, Malcolm Reed, Dr. Phlox, and security crewman Archibald are on their way. As they're journeying there, the ship hurtles straight in to an ion storm. So immediately Sato comes up and says, Captain, there's an ion storm. We are hurtling directly into it. We don't have time to go around, right? So we need to, we're actually going to be entering into an ion storm very soon. Do you have any orders, right? So one, they're shocked, right? And this surprises them, and there needs to be a decision made. So Captain Archer quickly says, ideas, everyone. And so Mayweather says, well, he's at the helm, and he has Khan, which is control of the Enterprise NX-01. And he's like, I can punch through, right? So I'm going to go right into the ion storm, and I'm going to do my best to punch the Enterprise NX-01 straight through the storm and avoid the most destructive parts. We're going to use our shields, and we're going to try to take the shortest path through the ion storm, right? And so then, Archer looks to Tucker, and he's like, Mayweather's the man. He can do this. Let's let him do his job and pilot us safely through the storm. So then we get to security crewman Archibald, and security crewman Archibald looks at the computer and he says, Captain, if we use triple power propulsion, what we can do is we can slam through the top layer of the ion storm and pop out on the other side. So essentially, like going in at and just kind of skimming the top of the storm, going into the storm a little bit, and then punching out on the other side. And then Archer says, wouldn't that put incredible strain on our propulsion systems? And so Archibald says, yes, this will absolutely put incredible strain on our systems. And then at that point, Tucker actually says, well, not only would it put strain on our propulsion systems, but there's a good chance the propulsion systems would not work at all. We would lose warp power and propulsion power if this is not executed perfectly by engineering and by Mo. And if it's and if we lose power in the storm, Mayweather literally won't be able to pilot us out, right? But then security crewman Archibald says, but this will massively reduce the amount of time we are in the storm, from probably about 3 minutes to ride through to less than 10 seconds of just skirting around the edge of the storm and dipping into the storm only a little bit, right? And then it goes to Sato, and Sato says, I agree with Archibald. I think we should, and then it goes around again, and Dr. Phlox is there, and Dr. Phlox is like, I think we should go with Tucker's plan, right? So then at this point, there's actually a presence and command roll that's made by security crewman Archibald, and his plan is accepted by Archer. Now this causes a major rift. Between Archibald and Tucker to grow, right? So then at that point, Mayweather and engineering are both commanded by Captain Archer to shoot through the edge of the storm using triple propulsion power. So then Mayweather makes his roll, but engineering fails its roll, okay? Mayweather is able to get the ship out and it punches through the edge of the storm, right? But then the ship loses all power, okay, and has no warp power and no propulsion power, and is spinning in space, which is actually not dangerous at all, because it's not highly dangerous in that they're thousands of kilometers before they have anything they're going to hit. Literally, they would be spinning for days. But the problem is they just went through an ion storm, and the crew is very unsettled. And when they look outside the windows, the ship is literally spinning while they have no power, right? So this is very disconcerting. So at this point, with only a second's notice, security crewman Archibald decides to do something, and he launches a photon torpedo at exactly the right length away from the ship and the right trajectory away from the ship, so that the explosion of the photon torpedo will arrest the momentum of the Enterprise NX-01, right? So he has to make a very difficult roll. I believe that roll was control and con. Actually, I'm sorry, it was security. It was control and security, right? And he makes it. He makes the roll, and the momentum of the ship is arrested, and everybody calms down. But now the ship is literally stranded, right? So what are they going to do? So Sato has enough auxiliary power to send a message out, and she sends a message out, which is received by a close Ferengi merchant ship, and the Ferengi merchant ship comes and helps them repair the Enterprise NX-01, and the Enterprise NX-01's propulsion systems are repaired, and then it's able to go to a Starfleet science station, a maintenance station, to fix the warp nacelles, right? And at that point, the Enterprise NX-01 is able to continue its journey to Kronos to return Klang, the Klingon who was found on Earth on that farm. And every single word you just heard is my humble opinion about Star Trek Adventures. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider liking and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.